Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Joseph Fountain here. So today I want to talk to you guys about, one of the reasons the stock market is still going up in the middle of a pandemic. So yes, even in the middle of this pandemic and everything that's going on, also with the racial tension and all the riots and the protesting and everything that's happening at this time, you would think the stock market would react to that and go down. Well, it's not. Well, one of the reasons why it's not is because yes, you get a lot of news about there's a possible, cure found for the disease, the illness that's going around, or there's this that's happening, or there's a good, chance we're going to get stimulus checks and everybody's happy. Well, yes, that is true. And that is definitely some of the reasons why, because if good news comes out, people like good news. And so how do they feel about good news? And with their money, they take their money and they invest it or they put it into the market. Well, if it's bad news, they retract their money because they don't know what's going to happen. So yes, those things can be big contributors to why the market goes up and even goes down. So here's the thing about what we miss a lot of times is we're always caught up in the headlines, but a lot of times we never take a look into to see what's going on behind the scenes, the things that don't get a lot of attention. So previously in one of my videos, one of my stimulus videos, I talked about how within the stimulus plan, there's always these different categories where there's money going to. Normally, us individuals, the people, within this nation, we're not the biggest concern when it concerns these stimulus bills that are being passed. What happens is when these bills are passed, there's a lot of money that's going to things like big businesses and banks and things like that oftentimes we miss. So case in point, one of the things that was within this previous stimulus plan is that they would actually be buying back bonds. So right now they've actually started to put $250 billion into the market by buying bonds, or what they call junk bonds, bonds that aren't necessarily doing the greatest. So how that works is basically they're going to give money to the bank in exchange for some bonds or some assets, if you will, that just aren't necessarily doing the best. So it gives the banks cash. So now they can do more with that, loan more money, whatever the case is. And then it's almost like the feds have now just bought the actual bond as almost like it's an investment. So it's almost like you're putting $250 billion within an investment within the market. So why does that matter? Well, bonds are made up of so many different things. Bonds are made up of, mortgages, stocks, investments, all types of stuff that, where what it does is once you put money within that market, it starts to shoot things up. So one of the reasons why you see the market going up is because there's so much money being put into the market, and they've just started to do that. And so you're going to see the market kind of trend upwards and go down a little bit and maybe trend upwards a little bit more, only because there's so much money being infused into the market. Now, one of the things why I love to talk about investing, especially within the market, is because understand this. If the wealthiest of the wealthy, if the richest of the richest, if they're putting their money within the stock market, or if you see an economy, or if you see the government, like our government, put so much money into an area because they want to make sure it does well, and they've stated by any means necessary, they're going to make sure the economy is straight. Not necessarily you, but the economy. So it's a money thing. So now if you see that's where there's a lot of attention that goes to putting money into these areas, then it makes sense to have some investments. So hopefully at this time, you're learning about investments, or you're learning how to invest during this time, so that way that you can have some skin in the game. Because understand, you can't necessarily beat the game. You just have to learn how the rules are played and learn how to play your part, how to get a piece, and how to position yourself. So the stock market is one of the ways to position yourself to actually put some money within an arena that a lot of wealthy people are constantly putting their money into. So yes, right now, one of the reasons why the stock market is going up is because there's a lot of money being pushed and poured right into the market by the way of just the government buying back or buying these junk bonds from these banks. So over the past couple of weeks, we've had some really low days, but we've also had some really high days. Right now, if you're gauging the market by looking at the Dow, it's around $26,000. And that's crazy because when we started going through everything a couple months ago with this whole pandemic, we saw it drop down pretty low. And what happens is now it's kind of held up. So what does that mean? Does that mean that the market's going to continue to go up? Does that mean that there's a crash coming? Don't know. But if you've been investing, and if you've started investing even months ago, or if you've been investing this whole time, you've definitely seen an uptick in your portfolio. Most people during this time, their portfolios are probably starting to regain whatever losses they have, or it's just continuing to thrive just based off of the way things have been done with this whole stimulus plan. And then understand that the media plays a really big part in it also, based off of the information that they put out, what they choose to show, and that kind of pushes and manipulates people on how to use their money and how to invest their money. So I don't know if you guys can hear, but we're getting trees cut down, and everybody's getting trees cut down in the neighborhood right now. So all I hear is a bunch of saws. But nevertheless, if you are not investing, or if you're trying to learn how to invest and you want to know where to go, you can go down into the description below, and there is a list of different brokerage accounts that you can use, that you can sign up for, and you can just kind of take a look and see if it's something that you'd be interested in. Pretty much most of the brokerages that we have here in the US, I've done reviews for, so you can find it on my channel as well. But take a look and then get started in investing and start learning so that you can have some skin in the game. All right, guys, well, I hope you have been safe. I hope things have been going pretty well for you during this time. If not, and if you've been affected in any way, definitely my prayers goes out to you. Stay strong and understand that even in the middle of a pandemic, there is an opportunity. So look for the blessing, look for the opportunity. There's something there for you. Talk to you guys in the next video. Be blessed. Peace.